G'day guys, welcome back to another video of Mutiny Pirate Survival. How are we doing? Hope you guys are well. So this video is going to be a lot different from my regular videos that I generally do. So today what I want to do is I want to dedicate this video and this little series of videos to all the newcomers and maybe some intermediate to later end game players alike. So what do I mean by that is I want to try and sort of give you guys the cheapest way of clearing out zones. Okay, so 2023 we have noticed that there's been a recent new update within the game, and some of these zones have become a little bit more difficult and a little bit harder to sort of traverse and complete and clear. So what I want to do is, as if we were playing in the game day one, I want to sort of give you guys a bit of a quick way as how I would approach this. This may not be the best or most efficient practice, but the way that I've done it in the past with a lot of other multiple survival games, including Mutiny. So we're going to get into it. To give you guys a bit of an idea, I've got literally nothing on me aside from the shoulder bag that I've brought just in case. So just for the first video in particular, I'm going to run it like this. Okay, so we're going to run it as if we've just started the game and we're going to be basically feeding off the land in each zone. Okay, so the more that we obviously go back and forth and all that sort of stuff, you'll get more resources that'll give you the abilities to create things like weapons, workstations, and more importantly storage containers, all that sort of good stuff, and that way from there you can obviously grow and expand. So keep that in mind. We're obviously I'm not going to show you exactly building and all that sort of stuff. This is purely primarily on surviving these zones, and hopefully you guys will gain some tips. And what I'm hoping for as well, some of you more seasoned pirates will be able to chime in and give us some more tips and tricks and things like that, and this way this will sort of help newcomers playing the game, and at least it gives you guys a bit more of an idea and a way to attack things. So that is the way that I'm trying to aim to do this. So without delaying it any further, we're going to head over to I would say the most likely of places that you'd like to start off with, which is the Bamboo Island. So Bamboo Island, level 10. We've also got the Stone Island, which is a level 10, and then we've got these fellas down here, which is your Sharp Tooth Island, level 20 for the Luscious, and level 20 for the Mountain Island. So let's focus on these two today, and this is how we're sort of going to build ourselves up. We're going to start with nothing, and we're just going to traverse our way around, and hopefully we'll be able to, we'll grab some materials, we'll grab some berries, and we'll try and make our way through. Now for new time players, when you get these fellas here that they're wanting you to follow to their camp or try to take out some enemies, you don't want to do that straight away, and the reason for that is you're going to not survive. It's going to be a little bit hard for you to do anything about this. So what I would try and do if I were you is use the crouch method, and that's going to be your best friend. You're going to be able to get yourself around quite easily. You'll find that you'll be able to maneuver yourself quite easily as well. See if we can just punch this. No, we thought I could try and one punch the hair there, but unfortunately that wasn't meant to be, so that's okay. But as you can see, you can continuously try and work your way through and crawl your way over, and that way this will allow you to get through to other places and be able to go through the zone quite undetected. So that is the best way to sort of approach this. So let's continue on and grab a few things. So typically what I'll do at this point is I'd pop the berries here just so you've got your source of healing and food and things like that, because that's obviously going to be important to begin with, right? So now the other thing I've done as well is I've stripped my spirit items as well, so I've got no necklaces. So in most cases what you're going to find is little iguanas like this. They are going to attack you. Unfortunately I can't stop or prevent this from happening because I've got too much of a higher spirit, so it's something that I can't stop or anything like that. But what you can do is you can obviously sneak past these fellas, crouch, and you can continue on. Once you sort of get out of proximity, once the highlight of the animal goes away, give it a couple more steps, and then you can pick yourself up and move along, so you don't have to forever crouch and impede yourself or anything like that. So over here I want to try and get this Plantago, so let's just do that. So we've got our first couple of Plantago here, and what I am looking for is some more debris and more bamboo and gotta be careful here, and more stone. So I've got a little bit of limestone here, which is great. So let's continue going down over this way. And again, like I said, the ocelot, you can just quickly, well, not quickly, but you can also just crouch your way through and you can get yourself by without a problem. Same thing with these fellas over here. You can easily just work your way around like this, and you can obviously go undetected. Alright, so far we've got 3 Plantago. We're doing okay at the minute. What I'm trying to look at here, I've got 4 bamboo and 5 stone. So if I can find another stone and a couple more bamboo, which would be very, very handy for me. We've got our first couple of robbers here. Now don't feel, so we've got a few more branches, which is great, and we've got a few more stone, which is great. Now these fellas here, now they're not the quickest guys in the game, so you can always exit. Now don't feel bad that you have to leave and then go back into the zone, because that's part of the way to survive, right? So you just got to be careful. But with these fellas here, you can always 1v1 these fellas if they're still coming at you, if you need to, and you can just punch them quite quickly. And we've got this fella over here who's wanting us to go to their camp, which we're not going to do, right? So at the moment we've got 6 of these. So what I would recommend in doing to start off with is making yourselves 1 of each. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. It's not going to amount to much. It will, because it's going to allow you to get more resources and harvest these resources in a quicker fashion. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that right now, and we'll use them till they break. Okay, I think that might be the best way of doing it. So we've got 9 bamboo, which is great. Now we've got our first stone node over here, and I think if I recall correctly, there is another plethora of stuff over here. So we're just going to circle back over here, and we'll just get as much as we can here. Oh, I missed that Plantago there. There we go. So let's see if we can get all of this goodness over here, and we're close to getting a full stack. So for investing 3 rock and 3 pieces of bamboo, you're going to get a lot more back in return for what you've just invested in. Okay, so easiest way to sort of explain this is just find your loose items first around the zone. If you have to go in and out, so be it. Just do what you need to do. Just be patient in the way that you conduct yourself, because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you're just going to start to continuously die, and you guys are going to find it a little bit difficult to survive. Okay, but as we're sort of getting on, I've already got a full stack and a little bit worth of materials and resources. And if you're lucky enough, in some cases you can actually still sneak around these animals. I know this one's not going to even attack me, but you can still do that and get away with getting some valuable resources as you sort of begin. So what have I got here in terms of stone? I've got 15 limestone. How am I looking at durability? As you can see, I've got a nice stack of materials. I've got a good stack of bamboo and stone there. Obviously I can get a lot more as we sort of go along. Now here I'm going to have to engage in some activities and taking these fellas out. So with some of these fellas here, you're going to need to obtain and craft some weapons, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Now as you can see, there's a few things that we can actually craft as well. Now what's going on here? We've got another young robber here, so let's see if we can just take him out real quickly. Now obviously the scaling of this as well, I've got a lot more HP than what brand new players would have as well, so please disregard some of that as we sort of go along with this. Like I said, I'm hoping that the intent here self-explains itself, and that way you guys are, you know, a little bit more, you know, well prepared. Okay, so let's see if we can crawl our way over here. And like I said, you can still make yourself invisible and get through, and you know, continue to go down this way if you need to. But let's quickly come back up here real quick, as long as no one's attacking us. Now, a couple of these items would have come up by now and would enable you to actually start crafting these. Okay, so you've got simple club, which is the first thing that everyone should craft up, and then you've got the simple spear, which everyone should obviously craft up next. So these will be the first two that I would be looking at. So what we can try and do is we can go back up here and see if we can take these fellas out. So we've got a young pirate and an ocelot. So young pirate and the ocelot here. Now I'd probably go for the ocelot, but use your club to your advantage, alright? Because you can do spread attacks. And the better that you can do spread attacks, the easier it's going to kill multiple enemies at once. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind that you can do that. So we've got some pretty cool resources here to begin with as well, so I'm going to go ahead and eat those up. And some of these supplies here, look, I'm going to leave them, but you can definitely take them back to base. Okay, where else do I want to go? I probably want to go over this way. Okay, so we've got another little campsite here. So again, let's just go in and take this fella out. Okay, so he's given us a cloth as well. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is, especially if you want to get heals up and running, you want to make sure or ensure that you craft up your self-made bandages. Whoops, who we got here? Okay, he's out. So I managed to get one of these fellas here, so we can substitute that for that, and you guys can heal yourself up quite easily using those self-made bandages. And then we've got our few little bits and pieces here. Like I said, I'm not going to grab everything because I've got an abundance of these basic resources, so it doesn't really bother me or phase me in the slightest. But let's say, for example, you want to switch up and use a different weapon. So let's go ahead and try and take out these fellas over here. Now again, with the ocelot, you guys will be more than likely having to take out one of these guys a few times over. So you can quickly dispatch those guys quite quickly. You may even get the attention of these fellas here, which is totally fine. So just keep that in mind. And again, you can still crouch your way over and open up this without even having to bother that ocelot. And there you have it. That's pretty much it for this zone here. And as I said, you just keep on rinsing and repeating here. Don't think I'll be able to get around this because it's going to exit the zone, so that's fine. But if you really wanted to see how it sort of works out with some a little bit more hectic players or enemies or anything like that, let's just do this one over here. Actually, you know what? Better not, because that can turn a little bit ugly. So again, avoid these until you're a little bit more confident in taking out those type of enemies. So let's just go back up this way. And let us head over here. Alright, so we've got a few young pirates over here. So let's see if we can just take out this fella here, because that's the first one that I would want to take out. Now again, for me, these guys here, they will try and flood you, and you're going to need to sort of leave the zone. But for me, I'm obviously going to be okay in taking these fellas out. So if you have to, do it. These guys with the hammers, they're going to be your easier targets because they take time in order for you to, in order for them, sorry, to attack you. So you've got a bit of time up your sleeve to try and, you know, get away from them. So let's go ahead and use another one of those. And did we have another one? I don't think we did. No, we didn't. Okay, and then that way you guys are able to get whatever's in there. Alright, so let's get the hell out of here, and let's at least do the Rocky Island now, which is the other level 10 island. So your basics of basics, we'll focus on these two today, and then I might open it up in the next video for these three here. And then we can move on to some of these other yellow islands as well. Okay, so here we go. So by then, what I would normally recommend is you do the Bamboo Island a couple of times over, because you're going to get all of your basic resources from thereafter, okay? So once you've done that, you'll be able to go into here. The difference between these two islands is this will be more stone focused as opposed to bamboo focused. But you will get your opportunities to get bamboo and the like as well, so you don't have to worry about that. You will also get some plantago, things like that as well. Alright, so let's just take this fella out and this fella out. And then by then, you'll be able to take some of these little pirates out as well, and you'll be able to get, you know, little things like this as you sort of go along. So just continue on, persevere. The next thing you probably want to focus on is getting things like the prickly pear, which is a little bit more widespread in this zone as opposed to the Bamboo Island. And why I normally suggest getting these is because it gives you a balance between food and drink, and obviously you get a little bit of HP, as you can see. So I normally sort of strive to try and get those because you don't have to take meat and water. You can just use the two, and that way you can keep yourself topped up. As long as you keep yourself topped up and you don't reduce your thirst and hunger too further down, you should be fine. And you should be able to just top yourself up as you go along. Alright, we've got a single player over here, so we can definitely take this Varan out. Okay, nearly did a one-shot on him actually. And then you'll get things like thin hide as well, which is going to be important for you to pick up as a brand new player as well, if you want to make things like clothing, for example. So if you want to get the sturdy boy clothing, you want to make some thin leather from the thin hide, or if you want to make flasks. Flasks will be important, especially when you're wanting to make healing ointments and things like that. But on this subject as well, while we're here, you can get yourself basic materials, and you can make yourself some basic clothing as well, and that'll probably be one of the other things that you want to do quickly earlier on, just so you can get yourself up and running. And this will be more so for pirates rather than animals. Some people tend to do these first. A lot of other people tend to hold those off and not do these, or bother doing these in these sort of type of zones, only because it could be a waste of your material and time, and which is another good fair debate if you actually look at it that way as well. With these green zones, you tend to sort of try and hold off on making armor and in that sort of context, because you don't really need armor per se. You probably want to sort of hold off until you get to other islands that will sort of come into its own, and we'll obviously go through those in other videos as well. But as I said, if you stick to the basics, crawl around. If you don't want to engage in certain attacks, there are going to be times and instances that you're going to have to, and you're not going to be able to get away from doing so. So try and pick out your weakest target first, and see if you can take them out as you go around, and then that way you should be able to, survive. Well, let's see if we can try and get these fellas, and then see like that. Actually, they didn't actually follow me, or they didn't react to me, which is actually really good, really lucky there. But what you could do is you can try and go up the right behind these fellas and see if you can do 2 attacks at once, kind of thing. So for whatever reason, these fellas here are they have not even triggered on me, which is interesting. So now they've triggered on me, and that's it. So we just literally taken out one of the harder little bandit camp kind of things. So they give you some little presents here and there as well if you do a good job. Some of them turn on you, which is why it's important for you to be careful so you don't actually catch yourself out, basically, is what I'm sort of trying to get at. But yeah, that's pretty much full circle on this island, guys. like I said, you can get by quite easily. You just got to be very careful in the way that you pick your battles, okay? But like I said, you can still go and conduct yourself and get as much resources as possible. Though these basic primitive tools are quite durable for what they are, so you can get yourself quite a bit of useful materials to start off with before you want to move on to the next phase and get more resources to build yourself up essentially. So yeah, I'm hoping you guys have gotten a little bit of value out of this. Like I said, I do hope some more seasoned pirates will get involved as well and lend their tips and tricks, as well as me, and hopefully we'll help you new people get into the game of Mutiny. So let me know what you guys think about this one here in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy this one? Do you feel like I could do this in a little bit, in a different format or anything of that nature? Let me know. See if we can improve the little build-up series here. And yeah, that's basically it. But if you enjoyed it, drop a like. As I said, comment down below, share if you can, and if you guys are new to the channel or not, and if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos. Alrighty guys, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.